On now to our number 5 seed, holding on to the 5th spot after finishing 5th in Orlando, is Belleve The Hype.
Belleve The Hype is one of the most dangerous teams on the circuit. The second most positive team in all of Orlando. When you look at this lineup, it's pure danger. A pure gangster, Demon D, one of the best duos in the game. Third most positive duo in Orlando. Belleve The Hype, the only knock on them so far, Scott, we've talked about this, has been their inconsistency against top teams. But we both know, Belleve The Hype at the top of their game, they possess the level of talent to win any event.
All right, well, that's Belleve The Hype. Scott, anything else on BTH?
Well, all I have to say is that even though Destin has like a broken hand or whatever it is, he's in a cast, he's still playing incredible Halo, and you can't sleep on him. I am predicting them to beat Stre Rippin round 3 just because they have a complete, no one knows what to expect from this team. Like you said, they're inconsistent. They can come in and get 7th, 8th, or they can come in and win the national championship in 2009. You never know what to expect from this team, but you can't sleep on them. You always have to give them credit.
And you know what, Scott? I talked to Tsquared last night, and the one thing he was worried about going into his Belleve The Hype matchup was their lack of structure. So if you watch Stre Rippin, they possess a lot of structure. And when you look at the Belleve The Hype squad, it's not the same story. They're 4 players who are just running around, running and gunning, and that causes a lot of problems for top teams. That's why Belleve The Hype is so scary against top teams.
All right, guys, well, let's keep this moving along now to our number 14. Belleve The Hype will be facing off against these guys in winner's bracket round 3, and that's Stre Rippin. They dropped to the number 4 spot.
And, you know, Stre Rippin got a wake-up call. They got a wake-up call at Orlando. They realized, hey, we can't out-individual skill every other team anymore. We have to work as unison. So they went to the 5-team LAN, and the first day they got steamrolled by Carbon. It was embarrassing to watch. It was 10-1. So what did they do? They stepped back and they're like, okay, what makes Instinct so good and all these other teams so good that we can't beat them anymore because we have our main Slayer and Snipedown, we should be winning. And they realize it's all about unison. They work together. Now you see them start running in 2s. We talk about it a lot. It's a very structural thing. They run in 2s a lot, and they split up the map, and this team is extremely deadly again. Legit is playing back to the beast mode status. I mean, Chris Bucket created a word for this guy called beast mode. He has the talent to win any tournament by himself.
Beast mode. It's classic. Love it. All right, guys, moving on now to our number 3 team.
Oh, man.
Guys, they used to be the number 1 team. It's Triggers Down.
And they've been falling off consistently. That's the only thing they've been doing consistently. TD had 2 bad lands in between events. But you know what? They pick up Tots. And now what Tots brings to a team, we saw what he did in the offseason. He brought Final Boss to an 7-seeded team to a 3rd place finish. And he could certainly do that here with the Triggers Down squad. If you look at Triggers Down, their one big knock, Scott, has been their lack of communication. And if you look at Tots, what's his one big plus? It's his communication. Exactly. So when you look at what Tots brings to the team, he brings everything that they're missing. Obviously, they lost a lot of talent with the loss of Pistola, but they feel that they can make it up. And if Tots fits the way that they want him to fit, Triggers Down could certainly turn some heads this event.
Think that's true?
I'm not sure if I think it's true or not, but I'm saying they'll stay in the top 6 for sure.
All right, guys. Well, let's move on now to a team that I think we all predict will finish in the top 6, and that's Classic. They secured their number 2 spot.
Now, Chris, this is the most impressive team in my eyes. This team took 2nd at championships. We thought it was kind of a fluke. Came in and took 2nd in Orlando, only losing to one team, Instinct, who played flawless Halo. Now, if Classic didn't get steamrolled in the winners bracket finals, they could have easily went to an 11-game there. They were playing incredible in the finals. But the thing I like about Classic is Ghostayame did not go back to his old roots like when he played with us. As soon as I played with it, or as soon as we finished top 2 with him, we just didn't even practice. We're like, okay, yeah, we're better than everyone else. We just got unlucky. Now he was the most practiced player going into this event, and all his teammates followed him. At the LAN versus Triggers Down, where they won 54-23, in between 11-game series, they were playing online. I would have never even dreamed of playing online at a LAN. Why would I put myself through that stress? But it just shows the level of dedication for this team.
And you know, Scott, going back to that LAN, they didn't go to the 5-team LAN. They were invited to the 5-team LAN, and they chose not to go. I really like that move by Classic. Nobody knows what to expect by Classic going into this event, and that's going to turn a lot of heads. Once you're at a 5-team LAN and you're playing the same teams consistently, you get used to playing those teams. And when you play Classic, you're going to be thrown off, and that's why Classic is going to see some success.
All right, well, Classic expected to see some success. Yeah, S's are fun. And let's move on now, guys, to the new number 1 team. I'm excited about this one. Instinct has their number 1 spot.
And they deserve the number 1 spot. When you look at what Instinct did in Orlando, they played absolutely flawless Halo, No holes in their game. The perfect balance between slang and objective ability. Instinct played lights out. Nobody, if they play like they did in Orlando, nobody stands a chance. And that's why Instinct deserves that #1 spot.
I couldn't agree more with you. Even if they played like 85% of what they did in Orlando, they could still easily take this one.
You know, when you look at them, only 18 games played. Cloud, the fourth most positive player in the whole tournament. It just goes to show the level of talent that they possess is above and beyond every other team. Roy and Lunchbox have really stepped up their game.
All right, guys, so that's going to do it. That's all 10 of our top 10 teams. Guys, we're going to a quick commercial break. Now that you know the teams, you can hear our predictions. But that's coming up in about 1:30.
The Hot Pockets pregame show with Chris Puckett is brought to you by Hot